So look, I think at times we can get so caught up in these cases that they become almost not about the child, but about obtaining information that offers us gratification. We invest so much time and thought into these cases, and we have our own ideas about what happened. It's more important to seek validation than it is to look at the bigger picture and understand what brought you here in the first place. What I mean by that is I think that a lot of people went into this Jose interview, and what they got from that was their own gratification, because what Jose tried to do was to offer certain elements of information that would do that. And that's why so many people won't listen to the bigger picture. They won't accept that when you take it for what it was, and I'll come to that in a second, they don't want to hear it because they're satisfied in the fact that what they heard made them right. Does that make sense? Like, there'll be people out there who thought Candace was the driving force. There'll be people who thought Dom was the driving force. There'll be people whose interest was in the relationship between Candace and Hunter. So when they hear that Jose is saying, yes, this is what happened, and it gives them gratification, they then will look at Jose in a different light because he's offered them the gratification that they need. So everything else he says, well, this guy must be right. He thought the same as me, and I consider myself right, so this guy is right. And I just want you to be completely honest with yourself, and I want to know where you are at this stage in the investigation and what is your true focus. Why are you still here? Why are you watching videos? Why are you watching this video right now? Because I'm making videos because I want to keep Summer's name in the limelight. I want us to be going over these little elements and seeing whether there's anything we missed. Scrutinising everything. Pinning down the things that could have happened and couldn't have happened. And why are we dwelling on the things that don't seem to be what could have happened? And even those things, is there a way that we can make them work? Is there something that we've missed that makes them more plausible than what we thought? But look, this Jose situation, this is the short version of it. Jose was there, and he was either there for 1 month or 6 months. We don't know because there's variance in that story. But he was there, and he was there because he apparently knew Candace and he'd known her previously. He didn't just drop out of the sky like Mr. Bean, landed in the garden, and wandered into the house and became their friend. That's not how that worked. It would appear that he spent a period of time when Don wasn't there because Don was working away. There's mixed communication around whether he had relationships with Candace and Ali. And we could extend all this. There's contradictions. There's things that don't quite make sense. There's things that do add up, and I'm sure there was truths in there. But there's also elements that it looked like he was seeking acceptance from everybody and trying to bolster why you should accept him. But ultimately, this was a guy who spent time in a house where children were being systematically abused. They were being starved. They were being potentially sexually abused, or certainly going through scenarios that I certainly wouldn't put my children through. They were being physically abused, mentally abused, and being subjected to seeing things that no children of that age should ever see, and living in conditions they should never live. And furthermore, we look at other children from other properties being brought into the home who were then groomed and raped. And this guy chose to not only live amongst it, but leave it without saying anything. And I see some of you comment and saying, but he didn't owe YouTube anything. He didn't have to come to YouTube. You're absolutely right. What he should have done is went to law enforcement as soon as he started seeing these things and report it. That's what he should have done. And if he then didn't see something happen, he should have gone to them again and requested as to why something hadn't have happened. Because even I can see that that sort of behaviour, that environment, was always going to lead to where we are today. And I know some of you turn around and say, look, he feels bad, but he was going through his own things. He had things on his mind. Could have had PTSD. I'm not buying that. This guy was able to sit there for 5 hours and reel everybody in with graphic details, detailing everything that you guys wanted and needed to know. And that's not how PTSD works. It's not how severe depression and anxiety works. Many people who suffer from these block things out, these traumatic things that they don't want to admit to. They won't have that much detail in their mind. It will be fragmented. But this guy was able to nail down all of the stuff that needed to be heard to satisfy the many people out there and obtain the trust of the majority of people who are looking at this case. And those people forgot why we're here talking about it. And that is that a little girl on the 15th of June 2021 vanished from a home that was fallen apart.